Good morning and welcome to the video live stream edition of the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me on this Monday, on this fine Monday, is Brett Wachowski.
What up?
Hi, Brett.
Hi.
It's good to see you.
Right. Well, same.
Same. Same. Brett is filling in for Mike Weibel, who's usually here, but Mike is taking what Brett is challenging as well-deserved time off. You know. Yeah. He works hard. He's a hard worker. Yeah, okay. He comes in and does this as well. But anyway, Brett, it's great to have you. We had a lot of fun on Friday. Got some good feedback from a listener, in fact, on Friday.
What'd your wife say?
Or not on Friday. Well, my wife, she loves the show, and I appreciate her. I love her so much. But no, on Sunday, we went down to Antiques on the Bluff. And as we were walking toward Antiques on the Bluff, a listener of WSJM, Warren. Hi, Warren. Good to see you. Thanks for saying hi. Hey, he stopped me on the sidewalk and said, "Hey, thanks for the program." He said some other very kind things, very nice things. But it was fun for me, especially because my wife was there, and then also a couple of my kids were in town, and one of them just got back from college, Sawyer, and he immediately said, "Don't let your head get big, Dad." I can see it's touching the trees now, so that was fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you agree with him. Yeah. Anyway, so thank you, Warren, for making my day. That was really nice. All right, it's Monday morning. Yeah, we got a note from the city. You know how they do the quarterly inspections?
Oh, yeah, every 4 years.
Every 4 years, a quadrant of the city gets inspections, and stuff that was not called out in the last inspection was called out this time.
Okay.
We're missing a stair railing because we have 4 steps in the front. 4 steps. Got to have a railing. 3 steps, no railing. 4 steps, railing. 3 steps, no railing. But last time they looked and checked, and they said we were fine. This time, not so much.
Different eyes.
Different eyes looked at it, and we got a different result.
Does the city inspect their own property?
Tell me more.
Well, I mean, it's property.
Yeah. Can I include that in my appeal?
You can ask.
I can show. Some photos of city property where they're violating what they called us out on.
Could be.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And then
they've come through.
And they look at the back of the house too. I didn't know they went to the back of the house. I thought it was just the front of the house.
As long as they're on public property.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which if you have an alley.
We have an alley. We have trees. So they must have stood at the back gate and like peered right in between, like in the 2 feet where you can see.
Or stood on top. No.
Yeah. I don't know maybe they got in one of those buckets. Went up there.
It does work because there are certain landlords, and it's mostly rentals.
Yeah.
They only do what the city tells them they do. Otherwise, they put nothing into the properties.
Yeah, I could see that. No, you have to keep up your property. I do like that. I do like that. Not, I think this is the first community I've been in where they really, really take it seriously.
Well, and that's been Benton Harbor's issue. They'll come, they'll get fired up and do it. And then people start complaining, and they tell the staff to back off. It's just a cycle.
Yeah.
And this goes back to the 60s in Benton Harbor. It's not just like this century issue.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're devising plans now to figure out how we put a railing in there that doesn't look aesthetically dorky. Or we just take on a project to reduce the number of steps down to 3. I'll just pour some dirt in and just ramp up to the last step. Here you go.
4 steps, you need a rail.
3 steps, no rail.
I'm trying to think. Yeah.
How many steps do you have?
4.
Do you have a railing?
Yes. Front and back.
Okay. I need
we look out.
I need a picture of your railing. Okay.
Well, one is aesthetically fine, and one was put in, and it was galvanized pipes.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be back in just a moment with more on the WSJM Morning Show.
Cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit,
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WSJM News now. Team coverage from the WSJM newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
Good morning and welcome back to the WSJM Morning Show. It's Monday, May 5th, 7:05 a.m. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me this morning is Brett Witkowski.
Good morning.
Hello, Brett.
What up?
Is that a yellow shirt in the rotation, or am I just jaundiced in my eyes? Is that white?
Yeah.
You might need some bleach.
I do. I bleach all my shirts.
That doesn't look white. That looks
white.
yellow.
Look at it.
If you want to see what we're talking about, you
That
can.
is white. How
you-
can it? I'm insulted now.
It looks yellow.
It does not.
Maybe it's the counter reflecting off your white shirt.
It's white.
Ask Amy.
It
It's
is. I just here, I'm turning on
if you want to see, you can no, don't turn on that light. What do you, no, don't turn on the other lights. Yeah, it's yellow. It's the WSJM Morning Show video live stream on YouTube or Facebook. We just had the light balance messed up because Brett turned on the lights. No, I guess you're right. It's kind of whitish,
Not kind of.
but it looks yellow.
Oh,
How old's that shirt? How many times has it been in the wash? Okay, yeah, we digress.
probably every twice a month.
48 degrees in downtown Benton Harbor, 48 in St. Joseph right now, same in South Haven. Cloudy skies all over the place, 49 degrees in Dowagiac. You going to look at it online?
Paul Bailey just texted me. He says it looks yellow.
Yeah. See, look at that. If Sheriff Bailey says,
Sheriff Bailey. Yeah.
if he says it's yellow, then it's yellow.
I gotta go off what he says. He upholds the truth.
I hope the horses are doing well. Today's forecast does call from, hey, turn that off. Mostly cloudy skies today, 50% chance of showers, a high around 63 degrees. East winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy, a chance of showers, low of 47. And Tuesday, partly sunny, a 30% chance of showers. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we should see the sun come back. Just a slim chance of showers right now as far as Wednesday is concerned. A high around 70 degrees on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, it's going to cool off just a hair, probably a high in the mid-60s with partly to mostly sunny skies. Tigers stomped on the Angels 13-1 yesterday. They took 3 out of the 4 games in the series. The Tigers have the day off today. They'll be in Colorado tomorrow to take on the Rockies. You can hear every Tiger game right here on WSJM. We are your official Detroit Tigers baseball station. The first pitch for tomorrow night's game set for 8:40 p.m. That's because they're out in Colorado. We have more to talk about in just a moment. First off, let's get some news from the WSJM newsroom. Traffic on I-94 near Water-Vliet and Coloma will be affected by a couple of projects starting today. Michigan Department of Transportation spokesperson Nick Sharippa says the agency will be repaving Hennessy Road, the bridge that goes over the highway.
For the next few months, starting Monday through the end of August, we'll have 2 lanes open of I-94 in each direction most of the time. There might be some nighttime double lane closure where it's just on the 1 lane in each direction at Hennessy Road. But there'll also be some intermittent lane closures on Hennessy Road over I-94.
The bridge project is part of the larger I-94 repaving project that's now underway between Coloma and Water-Vliet. That $32 million project will continue through next August. Although the Hennessy Road bridge portion should be complete by this August. Meanwhile, Sharippa tells us that AEP will be doing some utility work in the area of Park Road starting today. That will involve dragging some power lines across I-94.
And we'll have some intermittent total closures of I-94 during that time, but we'll use the state police to assist us, and those closures won't last more than 10 or 15 minutes at a time.
Sharippa says traffic will simply be stopped while AEP crews do their thing. All of the total closures will only happen, at least the schedule is, during the overnight hours, and the utility work will be for 1 week only. Now, drivers are reminded to be extra cautious and watch out for any crews on the roadway. I mean, it's convenient that they're doing it in the overnight hours, but that makes it especially dangerous as well.
I will say, I think MDOT does a pretty good job handling the traffic and making it as easy as you can. And their crews are working, their contractors are working late.
Yes.
And early. I mean, you go down there at 2 a.m., they're out humming.
Get the job done.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think MDOT does a really good job managing the construction.
That editorial comment from Brett Witkowski.
Right. It's my opinion.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
We appreciate that. Other road news. You ready?
Sure.
Other road news. The Berrien County Road Department is planning to upgrade traffic signals throughout its service area. The department says it operates a total of 14 signals that will be improved with funding from the Congested Mitigation Air Quality Program. That's a federal program, by the way. The approved project includes upgrading signal heads, cameras, modems and controllers at all 14 locations. That includes the traffic signal in front of the Cook Nuclear Power Plant that can often frustrate drivers.
Yeah, I thought the road department wanted it gone, but the plant wanted it to stay.
Well, and it's there.
Yeah,
so who has more sway now?
Well, when you're probably 10% of the county tax base, you might have a big voice.
That signal will be replaced in 2026, but all other locations will be replaced this year. That's their plan. Those others are located around Benton Township, Chickaming, Lake, Lincoln, St. Joseph, and Sodus Townships. The road department says replacing the signals will reduce unnecessary downtime due to old and aging infrastructure. It will also enable remote monitoring to aid in the review of malfunctioning signals, hello Napier and Colfax, or dark signals following power outages. When the replacement work is going on, drivers might notice some shoulder or lane closures during that period of time. Staying on the roads, but in a different way, the Michigan State Police Post in Niles is planning a couple of events for the public to come and meet its troopers while having some fun. Post Community Service Trooper Holly Higgs tells us they're hosting a pancake breakfast. It's coming up on Saturday, May 17. It's something the Post has done for a few years around this time of year just to meet the community.
We just love being able to have the community come in and talk to us. No one calls us on good days for us to come out to their house, so we just want to meet people on good days and give them a little bit of food.
Higgs says troopers will be serving homemade pancakes from 9 a.m. to 11 at the Niles Post. Everyone is invited, but the fun doesn't end there. On June 7, the Post will host a Bike with a Cop at Cassopolis Middle School. Higgs says that will be a chance for anyone to bring out their bicycles and test their skills with 7 members of the Post's bike team.
We are going to set up some of the bike courses that our bike team has to pass to be able to be allowed to ride a bike on duty or for escorting marches. So we're going to set up some of those to have kids be able to try them out.
They'll also have bike races for all ages. Higgs says the event, which has been held for a couple of years, is always fun. Bike with a Cop will be on Sunday, June 7th from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. in the back parking lot of the school. We have a link for more information at our website, WSJM.com. And if you're traveling south of the state line between Michigan and Indiana today, if you happen to see a lot of flashing lights and a fire happening at South Bend International Airport, don't be alarmed. They are running training exercises today. We have a cough switch over there, by the way. And there you go. Does that work?
I don't know, does it?
The St. Joseph County Airport Authority, Department of Public Safety, is conducting their annual fire training as required by FAA regulations with live burns that start about an hour from now, and they'll run through noon today. The exercise will take place at the live fire training facility on the northwest corner of the airfield at the South Bend International Airport. Airport officials tell us the Public Safety Department's 12 members will take part in putting out fires, sharpening their skills. Chief Mike Ornat says the safety is held to the highest standard across all sectors of the airport, and the training helps his team stay on top of their game. Those driving by the airport might notice some activity like that. You might see some fires, some people working with sirens and lights and all that other fun stuff. Don't be alarmed. Again, it's just training, and it should not impact flight operations either. There you go. 7:13 WSJM Morning Show continues. We've got sports now with Dave Wolf.
Major League Baseball.
You ever see any of those training exercises? They're pretty impressive.
I have not.
I mean, they set a good fire.
Well, that's the whole point.
Because you've seen the burnt out Hulk of the airplane thing there. That's where it is around that thing.
Yeah, when I was treasurer, we'd offer up houses to fire department that we were going to tear down.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
If they were scheduled for demo.
Yeah.
And what I
did,
you
burn them?
We'd offer it to fire departments.
And did they take you up on it?
They did until the law was changed. It wasn't because of here, but somewhere they did like a burn on a house.
Yeah.
And it caught the neighbor's houses on fire or something. Got out of
You're
control.
getting some love on our video live stream, by the way. Let's see. Bill says your shirt looks white.
Thank you, Bill.
Lorraine says your shirt looks white.
Maybe you need to go see a doctor.
It could be. Maybe I'm seeing yellow.
Here,
your
liver okay?
Do you see yellow if your liver isn't okay?
You look yellow.
Well,
if your liver's not okay.
Yeah, you do. You look jaundiced. Let's see. Okay, I'm taking a picture. Yeah, you're totally yellow. Okay, now look at this. Do you not look yellow in that photo?
Honestly, no.
All right, I'm going to send this to Stephanie because she is the voice of truth. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, but we'd
Yellow?
offer up
Question
houses.
mark?
It was cheaper than tearing them down.
And remind me, did they take you up on it?
Yeah.
Okay. And did they burn
City
it?
of Niles did quite a bit.
Wow.
They were really aggressive to that law change.
Wouldn't that pollute the air unnecessarily with some stuff, carcinogenic stuff?
I mean, they would have. I mean, they'd put it out as quick as they started.
That doesn't negate the stuff that goes into the atmosphere if it's burning.
They had their permits, so
all right, fine.
I'm not their police.
Okay,
but it worked. I mean, one or and then fire departments in rural townships, they would love it because I shouldn't say love it, but
I understand.
How do you practice that without it being a real life and death situation?
Yes.
And so we offered them up.
Yeah. Okay.
And like I said, then the law changed because somebody didn't put it out quick enough and it burned the neighbor's nice house.
Oh,
not
really?
here. Yeah. So it stopped. We couldn't do it anymore.
Somewhere.
Yep.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. They had to sign, hold harmless agreements. And it worked out fine.
We'll talk about Warren Buffett here in just a moment. Let's see. You had another story. What was it? Was it from this weekend, you and Amy?
Yeah, that's a radio story.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You wait. We'll
Okay,
talk about that here in just a moment.
They went to
for whatever reason, Brett's going to games at Notre Dame, so we'll come back and we'll talk about that in just a moment.
I like it
Here on the WSJ.
You know who else goes? Paul Bailey.
Oh, really?
He goes to a lot of. You'd be surprised how many local people go to watch Notre Dame women's basketball season tickets.
That'd be fun.
It's a lot. I'm amazed the number of local people.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how ticket sales are going now that in Iowa. Now that what's their face is over in Indiana.
Well, I'm sure they're down a little bit. They actually played at Iowa yesterday.
Oh, did they?
Preseason game. The Fever played the Brazil national team.
Oh, okay.
Turned it on was
because the regular season's not happening, right? They're doing international games.
Preseason.
Oh, this is preseason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it starts on the 16th.
Wow.
A day after the parking.
What parking thing? What parking thing?
Oh yeah. Don't poke me.
You wanted to bring it up. All
I
right.
just had to laugh.
We'll talk about it in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
Rain showers this morning and then again late today. In between, we could see a peak of sun. High temperatures today at 63. Tonight down to 47 with a few showers and a few showers tomorrow as well with high temperatures at 62. We should be back up right around 70 degrees on Wednesday. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
718 WSJM Morning Shirt Show continues.
Yeah, there we go.
The morning shirt discussion this morning. We're talking about Brett's shirt because on the video live stream, it might be one of those things. You know how on social media you can look at a dress. I think it's been dresses typically where some people see
Not
one.
looking at a lot of dresses.
Some people,
ahead.
no, I mean they show up in your feed, and some people say, "Oh, that's definitely a blue dress," and some other people look at it and, "Oh, that's definitely a brown dress," and both sides are just adamant. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's how your eyes see. But I've been looking on the video live stream this morning, and your shirt looks yellow to me.
That's fine.
And so I received independent confirmation that indeed it does look yellow until you zoom in, and then it looks white. So
I know it's bothering you.
Well, no, it's fine. I want to look at the label later. But on the TV, according to Stephanie, on the TV, it looks blue. So
we got the whole spectrum going.
If you want to,
I am the rainbow shirt.
If you want to see what we're talking about, just check it out. It's on the video live stream, YouTube and Facebook. Type in WSJM on your social media platform of choice, and you can see the video live stream there. You look very nice. You always look very nice.
I try to dress.
Always
decent.
very buttoned up. You want to talk about? We were talking about our weekends, and you went down and you were watching women's basketball. Where and when and what was going on?
So on Friday, during women's basketball season, Amy and I have season tickets for Notre Dame women's basketball.
You have season tickets?
Mm-hmm.
Look at you. Okay.
We've always gone there. So we had all girls at home, and at that point, girls were not on. You never saw their games on TV,
right?
I wanted my daughters to know that girls can play ball too.
Okay,
So
good.
that's why we went back in the
You're
day.
a good dad.
And tried to be.
Yeah.
And so we went Friday to the WNBA preseason game between Dallas and the Las Vegas Aces, who are two-time champs. And mainly it was each team had, I think, one or two former Notre Dame All-Americans.
Oh, all right.
So that was the main reason.
Okay.
One who hit the winning shot when they won a national title. Plus Dallas had Paige Buckers, who was the number one draft choice from UConn.
Okay.
So
UConn.
UConn.
Okay.
What'd I say?
No, you said UConn.
Okay. So
I just said it again.
good.
UConn.
Sitting next to us was Muffet McGraw.
You have season tickets next to Muffet McGraw?
She sits at the same table that we do, but for this game, she sat next to Amy.
Oh, okay. All right.
And
Very
people
nice.
are coming up. And,
These are good seats.
Yeah. And if people don't know, Muffet won 2 national titles,
Yeah.
9 Final Fours, and
Notre Dame women's coach.
Yep, Notre Dame, and retired 4 or 5 years ago. Now
Yeah.
is a ACC analyst. Does a great job. And so we got a selfie with her, and like everybody else did that day.
Yeah.
And it was funny. Amy claps for anybody who scores. It doesn't matter who they are. She doesn't. Amy will tell you she really doesn't understand the game, but she's always supported our daughters.
And she's sitting right
likes
next to
going.
Muffet McGraw.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Amy claps for Paige when she scores a bucket. And again, Paige played for UConn, just won national title, played for Gino. If people know Muffet and Gino, they did not get along. They did not get along privately or publicly. She leans over to Amy and says, "We never clap for UConn."
Uh-oh.
So Amy's like, okay.
Did Amy refrain from clapping
did,
for
yeah.
UConn?
Yep.
They're on.
And then she'd lean over like, that's a flagrant foul in college. And Amy's like, okay. She just, but very nice.
That's funny.
Very nice lady. People.
Is she nice, Muffet McGraw?
Yeah. So Amy,
She seems like a quality individual.
yeah, she very nice. So
Okay.
Amy stepped out for a few minutes. Or our daughter called. They have their first child and just couldn't get him not cry. So it was the first time my daughter had dealt with that. So she didn't call dad for that. She called mom, which
Smart.
Smart.
Yeah.
Um,
What was the solution?
I'm not sure. He did fall asleep finally.
Yeah.
But he had been
They usually
crying
do.
for about 4 or 5 hours.
Oh my goodness.
And
You take him in the car. You
I think that's what she did do.
yeah, you put him in the car, you buckle him in,
But I talked with Muffet for a few minutes. I didn't want
play
to
some nice soothing
overbother her.
music.
Yep.
Just drive around.
But she was really nice. I mentioned about back in 01 coming to a game against UConn back then, and she goes, "That was our first sellout ever."
Oh,
I mean, it was sharp. She was very nice.
that's fun.
Yep.
You know what else happened over the weekend?
You got tagged by the city.
Well, yeah, we received the notice. We received the notice from the city of St. Joseph. As we talked about, they go out every 4 years. They hit a different quadrant of the city,
Yep.
and ours was the lucky one this year. And they tagged us for something that wasn't an issue last time they inspected.
Well, the rules code changed too, because I think they go off the international building code.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so it's only a small couple of things. One of them is it's a little bit of a head scratcher. We have to figure out a railing
Mm-hmm.
or get rid of a step.
Railing would be better.
You think?
Yeah.
No, I could pour the playground sand and just make a ramp from the sidewalk up to the first step, so the first step disappears. Then there's only technically 3 steps.
Okay.
That'll work, right?
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Or I could put in a railing. I don't know. Structurally, it's going to be a challenge because I don't know what it's going to hang on to there.
I got a friend that, if you want his name.
You got
and number.
a guy?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we'll talk to the guy.
Yep. He helps.
It's
with-
got to look nice though.
Oh, I agree.
We want it to look very nice.
Yeah,
and then we
I
have to
would agree.
touch up some trim out in the back. That's why I was surprised that they inspect the back of the houses too, because I know exactly what they're talking about. There's a thing up there that when we had the new roof put on, they messed with it a little bit and it doesn't look right. So now we have to go fix it. But anyway, the roof
Yeah.
looks great,
We had,
but the trim needs a little attention.
they must have came through our quadrant a couple years ago because we didn't have numbers on one of our apartments,
Oh,
which you need to for police and for fire.
sure. Makes
And
sense.
That was fair.
Okay.
Yep.
That's
And-
what, a 59-cent fix?
Yeah, but we did, and we just had our apartments and
Ours might be a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yours would be a lot more expensive.
thank you.
And so you ran that story. The city's going to hire a contractor to do.
Yes, they're hiring a contractor to do the inspections. I bet the contractor's a little bit more strict.
I will say over the years in dealing with the fire department, now public safety,
Yeah.
they know their stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. They know
Absolutely.
their stuff. So ours
funny.
passed. One of the tenants took out a battery out of smoke alarm. I'm like, seriously? Why would you do that?
Oh, probably because they're cooking.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, that or ran out of batteries somewhere else.
Oh, it was chirping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You know what else happened over the weekend? Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Big transition there. Warren Buffett plans to hand over the reins of Berkshire Hathaway at the end of the year to Greg Abel, who has been working for the investor for more than 20 years and has a long track record as a business operator in his own right. Why do you laugh about that?
How old is he?
Oh,
Because Warren is 94.
He's younger, and he sounds better than Warren Buffett.
Yeah, sadly,
Warren Buffett did not sound healthy.
He's 94, and he just sounded weak.
He did sound weak. Abel has been on Berkshire Hathaway's board since 2018. His current title is Vice Chairman of Non-Insurance Operations. His new title is going to be Master of the Universe.
Right.
Yeah, something like,
They own a lot.
maybe. They'll probably give him something more modest than that. But that role puts Berkshire's businesses in areas like utilities, railroads, and retail in his purview. The utility and energy industry is where Abel, you asked how old he is? He's 62 years old. So he's
just a youngster.
He's got a lot of runway left. He cut his teeth before becoming Buffett's right-hand man. He first joined Berkshire when Buffett's firm struck a deal for controlling a stake in Mid-American Energy, where Abel was an executive back in 1999. He later served as CEO of that company, which was later renamed as Berkshire Hathaway Energy. So yeah, he's asked a lot of questions like, well, I mean, we're all pretty used to Charles Munger and Warren Buffett. How are you going to invest?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, we'll see. You
Right.
know? So he gave no definitive, exactly. But I mean, Berkshire Hathaway, talk about a legacy of making money.
Yeah, his story is something else.
Yeah.
But he's been doing it since he was right out of college, I thought.
Wow.
I thought I read this weekend where the S&P 500 has had the longest streak ever of positive territory.
Okay.
Like 20 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes up for the big losses start to.
Yeah, definitely. But back to Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire confirmed that Abel will be Buffett's successor. That confirmation actually came back in 2021. It was just that during this annual meeting for Berkshire Hathaway, that Vice Chairman Charlie Munger, let it slip. And then since then, that was 2025, or 2021 rather. Since then, Abel has largely remained in Buffett's shadow, although shareholders have had a chance to get to know him a bit at these annual meetings and these interviews. Berkshire's board will now vote on whether to formally approve Abel as the new CEO. I don't think there's much discussion. It'll probably be a unanimous vote. That's according to Warren Buffett. That's what he expects. Abel will step forward to take responsibility for all of Berkshire's assortment of businesses with their nearly 400,000 employees and the conglomerate's massive stock portfolio. That's amazing. 400,000 employees.
Wow.
Berkshire Hathaway.
And all they really do is buy and sell.
Well, I mean, they've got Heinz ketchup, right?
Correct.
They've got Dairy Queen.
I like Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen.
Went there last night.
Did you really?
Yep.
You went to Dairy Queen?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
I got a Butterfinger Blizzard.
Oh, that's good.
So we bought the St. Joe card. It's a coupon card.
Okay.
So if you buy one medium Blizzard, you get the second free. So
buy one, get one free.
So it's a good deal. I think.
So did you eat both of them? Did you give one to Amy?
No, Amy had one, but she usually doesn't eat all of it. I usually do not have a problem eating all of it. But
do they still hold it upside down before they hand it over?
Yep.
Okay.
I will say the dairy shout out to Dairy Queen. Your young man taking the orders and the money.
Yeah.
Beyond polite.
Very nice.
I mean, he won't be there long. He'll go somewhere.
Customer service.
Beyond. He did a really nice job.
That's fantastic.
And you could understand him.
Okay.
Sometimes coming over the
right. Orange soda.
Yep. He did a really
I said
nice
orange soda.
Orange soda.
Anyway. Well, good. I'm glad that happened.
You need to buy one of those cards.
Are you shilling now? Is this unsponsored content going on? Okay,
No,
stop
'cause-
that. Stop that.
No,
We're a business. We got to
do-
make money.
We do carry St. Joe football.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll keep that. We do carry St. Joe football. We love St. Joe football.
And
Okay.
that's the St. Joe football gift card. It raises money for
Can
the
we talk
program.
about other things, food? Let's talk about tomatoes.
I'm not a fan. I like ketchup.
You
though.
don't like tomatoes?
I like ketchup.
Are you American?
Yeah, I'm just not big on tomatoes.
Wow. A little bit of salt, pepper, some olive oil, a little basil,
My dad did that.
some
all the time.
mozzarella.
Yep.
Ah, yeah. I had for dinner last night. I
Ugh.
had a huge lunch. So for dinner last night, all I made myself was on toasted rye, a little tomato avocado sandwich. There's mayonnaise hidden in there somewhere, and salt and pepper is really good. This is very good. Anyway, 2 brands of tomatoes have been recalled in 14 states, including Michigan, due to possible salmonella contamination. Maybe that's why you don't. Maybe that's why you don't like tomatoes.
No, I just don't like them.
Ray and Mascari recalled 4-count vine-ripe tomatoes that were sold by Gordon Food Service stores in 11 states, including New York, Illinois, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Indiana, a couple others.
Stevensville, St. Joe, Michigan.
According to the FDA, Ray and Mascari was notified by Hanshaw and Caping Farm of Florida that they were recalling a lot of tomatoes that they had received and repacked into 4-count vine-ripe tomatoes due to possible presence of salmonella in their facility. People infected with salmonella often have fever, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain. Rare cases can be more serious than that. The tomatoes were sold in plastic clamshells and had a vine-ripe tomatoes label containing "Packed by Ray and Mascari Inc."
From our listeners on the show, or from the tomatoes they get that?
Huh? Keep working at it. You'll get it.
I get it. I
Consumers.
only got 10 minutes left. No, I got 29.
Consumers, math is good for you. Consumers who have purchased the products are urged not to consume them and return them to the place of purchase for a full refund, or you can just toss the products and go find some new tomatoes. I saw they were selling tomatoes and pepper plants at the nurseries this weekend.
Not at Antiques on the Bluffs.
Well, I went to Antique on the Bluff. I didn't see any plants for sale there. I saw a lot of fun stuff for sale. It was good. Did you go down there?
Drove by it. Looked a little thin. It is
first one of the season.
It's Maine. The weather wasn't great.
It was the first one of the season. The weather was a little bit questionable because the forecast had more rain in it than what we received. We did get rain, but it's a little later.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it was cold. It was a little cold, but it was a nice turnout. Good to see a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see a lot of people down there. But we'll talk about some more things, including what's happening with the art museum in Chicago, a new exhibit, unplanned.
Oh,
yeah, it happened on a flight with one of their top executives.
What happened?
We'll tell you in just a couple of minutes right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. It's 7:33. We've got, if I can find my mouse controller, there it is. We've got more coming up in just a few minutes. We've got the Bloomberg Market Minute next. And then we'll talk about the latest world and national news from ABC, our local news, our local sports. It's all coming up on your local station for news, talk, and sports, WSJM.
Would you call free?
You're funny when you're impatient. What happened? What happened?
Yeah, what happened?
We should give exclusive content to our video watchers right now. And good morning and thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. Let's see, who else did we have come in there? Oh, Alex. Alex says good morning. Good morning, Alex. Oh, yeah. Alex says it's generally advised against zooming in on radio personalities. You are correct, Alex. It
is.
Diane says good morning. And let's see. Diane says I'm going to check in with Teresa too. Teresa, how are you doing? Because we haven't seen you. I hope you're there somewhere.
She's okay.
I hope she's okay. She put on here a week or two ago that she had a bout with shingles.
Oh.
And I feel because I mean I don't know from personal experience, but I have heard that shingles is very painful.
I've heard that too.
And yeah, so you deal with that and then you go forward, but that's tough. So I hope she's doing all right. But no, the exclusive content, the head of the Chicago Art Museum, one of them, is under investigation after allegedly stripping during a flight to Europe.
That's not art.
No, well, you don't think? I mean, it could be, right? Art. I mean, everybody calls it, something different. Art. Police were called to an April 18th United Airlines flight from Chicago to Munich following reports that James Rondeau, president and director of the Art Institute of Chicago, took his clothes off on a flight. He allegedly had consumed alcohol and prescription medication before the incident.
I hope there's a reason.
Isn't that always the reason now, though? That we had, I mixed my Ambien or whatever with booze, and that's why I decided to do all these things that I got arrested for. Anyway,
quite the flight.
So we've got more detail on that, but
you don't see many. You don't see many streakers as you used to either. Remember they used streak.
Was that a thing at some point?
It seemed like there was.
I thought it was just an always. I guess at sporting events you don't.
No, you don't.
Maybe they can't smuggle in their outfits.
Yeah, we had one when we were at a ball game once. We were at a Tigers game. Guy ran right by us, butt naked, hopped over, ran on the field. But no one wanted to tackle him. They let him just kind of run out of gas. And then they arrested him. And my friend, who was at the game on the other side of the field, they brought him up naked going up and probably locked him in the jail like that.
They brought him up the stands
naked. Yep.
Oh,
yep.
I like that strategy though. Don't try to tackle him.
No, oh my gosh.
Just let him run it out.
He did. Obviously, he had taken his medicine and alcohol combo together.
There's a delay of game.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. I think our kids were 6 and 2, something like that.
I don't think I've ever seen a streaker live and in person.
I was watching on Instagram like a Johnny Carson stuff.
Yeah,
and they had a streaker run by. Yeah, it was.
Oh,
yep.
Now, don't ask me about. Oh, we've got to get back to the radio show. Hold on.
Oh,
Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
7:37. It's the WSJM Morning Show. If you missed the video live stream that we have every morning from 7 to 8 o'clock on YouTube and Facebook, you miss a lot. We are just giving some exclusive content. We'll talk a little bit more about it here in just a moment, but we are getting into stories about streakers at sporting events.
Yes.
So if
it's bent down lately.
Yeah. Everything's going. Yeah. Anyway. All right. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. We have the latest world and national news, an update from ABC right now. We'll have local news, local sports next. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Will the U.S. and China agree on tariff issues with the trade war in place and the threat of price hikes on Chinese goods looming? ABC Chief White House Correspondent Mary Bruce says there could be some movement.
China now says it may be open to talks with the U.S., saying it's evaluating ways to start negotiations after the U.S. reached out multiple times. But Beijing insisting Trump's staggering 145% tariffs must be eliminated first.
The president, in that interview with NBC's Meet the Press, saying over the weekend he doesn't know if every person in the U.S. is entitled to due process, as it states in the Constitution. Israel has approved plans to take over the entire Gaza Strip and remain in the territory for an unspecified amount of time. The new plan, Israel says, will help it defeat Hamas and bring the remaining hostages home. Warren Buffett now says he will remain board chair at Berkshire Hathaway when Vice Chairman Greg Abel takes over as CEO next year. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:39 WSJM Morning Show continues. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me this morning is Brett Witkowski. Some of the news stories that will bring you at 8 o'clock this morning. A walk-in is planned tonight at the South Haven City Council meeting as a group of citizens is planning to show their support for the person they want to see as police chief. We'll give you more detail on that coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Also from South Haven, the city has applied for an emergency dredging permit from the Army Corps of Engineers. They say in their recreational harbor area, some boats can't get out, so they've got to get some dredging done, and they need the permission of the Army Corps to do that. Also, budget talks are underway in Washington, D.C. We'll get an update from our area congressman on how they're working to save some money. That and more coming up at 8 o'clock this morning right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We've got more to talk about, including sports from Dave Wolf. That's after a look at state news.
The Michigan.
All right. Do you think Congress is going to get their budget work done this year? They never get their budget work done. They rarely anymore get their budget work done.
I was going to say, this is the first time I can remember they're actually trying to be a budget. When was the last time they had a true budget?
Well, I mean, the president has to give a budget over every year, and they do.
They do? I don't know.
They send a budget over. They send a proposal over. Whether it's realistic or not is debatable.
Yeah.
But Congress then has, I think, 13 appropriations bills to get through. And each of those different appropriations bills typically ends up not happening. At least that's been the recent trend, because they get what's called a continuing resolution to keep the government funded at last year's funding levels, plus or minus. And so that, I think, more than anything, has really caused a lot of that debt to go up,
Sure.
and the deficit as well. But this year they're going after cuts both in the non-discretionary spending, the appropriation spending, and additional savings to pay for tax cuts, which they have to pay for tax cuts before they can give tax cuts.
Right.
So I don't know. It's interesting to see what's happening, but I don't know if they'll actually be able to get everything done. It depends largely on what happens in the Senate, if they can hold their coalition together in the House as well.
Correct. Yeah.
But over in the Senate, they've got parliamentary procedures that could stand in the way.
As we said in the first hour, the budget as is just unsustainable. It just cannot. At some point, you can't have $1 trillion annual deficits.
Yeah.
The interest on the national debt alone is over $1 trillion. I mean, it's
unfathomable.
Well, right. It's not. It's like monopoly money. You can't imagine it.
Yeah.
But at some point, it's gonna send us into bankruptcy. Nobody can run a house like that.
But I don't think anyone believes us. I don't think anyone believes that could happen and what that would look like if it did happen.
Right. Well, ask City of Detroit, right? I mean,
but you're talking about federal government, a lot different.
Well, yes and no, but at some point, if you keep printing money for an economy that really doesn't exist because it's false money, it becomes less and less valuable. We saw that with COVID money.
Yeah.
They sent out all this money and then had things shut down. And what happened? Inflation took off, and the dollars you had in your pocket were worth a lot less than they were the year before. And at some point, it just you get there's going to be a tipping point. I don't know when it is, and then it's going to be next to impossible to bring it back.
Okay, we'll keep watching it.
I mean, the debt just is on. At least have a balanced budget.
Yeah. Well, when was the last time we had that? During Clinton, right?
Correct. You had it for, I think, 2 years.
Because you had the president, who was from the Democratic Party, and then you had the Congress, which was controlled by the Republicans, and therefore they worked out a balanced budget.
They did.
That was a novel idea,
and actually had a surplus for a couple of years.
Yeah,
and it worked well. I mean, it'd be nice to get the debt down, and George Bush the second. Republicans, in my opinion, could always hang their hat on that they were fiscally conservative. Then Bush the second blew that out of the water. And took away that argument. And some of it
was that in the wake of 9/11?
Some of it was,
yeah,
but not all of it.
Yeah.
And we just have not reined it in under any president.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that includes Trump until now. Trump first term did not rein in spending.
Yeah, one of the hardest things to do is to rein in that. Once a government starts putting money into something, very difficult to get it back out.
Yeah, because it becomes viewed as an entitlement.
Well, yeah, it can become, and maybe to put it more diplomatically, it becomes viewed as, okay, well, this is now the new baseline.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll go with that.
And I think that's where the government gets into a lot of trouble, is you set the new baseline for spending. The expectation is there. You hire employees, you start new programs, you do all this other stuff, and then if the money doesn't come back in for the next year, well, it's just this huge, dramatic, draconian cut.
Yeah, I saw.
When it was probably meant to be temporary in the first place.
Exactly. And then what's the metrics to decide if it's even successful?
I do like that. Let's talk about metrics, and whenever you put the spending out, what are the success measures? Let's agree on them as part of the appropriation. And then if we're not held to that, then of course you're dealing with people here, so it's tough.
Yeah, and I think the other part, and you may see this in what you do, is you have a lot of different organizations trying to do the same thing, and maybe just consolidate them. Department of Education, I mean, it'd be hard for them to say we need it at the national level when test scores are nowhere what they used to be.
Yeah, there's a metric. There's a metric you can look at. Are we where we want to be? And if we're not, how are we adjusting to be there?
And I saw the unemployment numbers, and they had said, jobs grew a lot higher in April than they expected.
Than the expectation, yeah.
And they said the federal government is down, was 9,000 employees in saying April, and I think overall 26,000.
Not much.
No, it's not really. I think there's over 3 to 4 million federal employees.
Yep. Let's see. Do you like boating? Do you go boating often?
No. I don't mind it. I just we never owned one.
So you probably don't have a Lamborghini boat in the garage somewhere.
Maybe.
Authorities said 32 people were rescued from a sinking boat off the Miami coast over the weekend. Happened on Saturday. The U.S. Coast Guard responded to a vessel that was taking on water near Monument Island. The 32 people rescued from the scene. It was a 63-foot boat. That's a big boat.
That is a big boat.
That's a big boat. 32 people were on the boat. They were all recovered without injury. The Coast Guard did not respond, but it was a Lamborghini boat. And I'm looking at this boat. Number one, it doesn't look like a 63-foot boat. Number two, there are way too many people on that boat, and that's probably why it sank. It was straight up in the water, said a witness. It definitely didn't look ordinary, and it was very concerning.
And I'm sure they had their alcohol and medicine at the same time.
They probably had that. We'll be back in just a moment on WSJM.
7 with a few showers, and a few showers tomorrow as well, with high temperatures at 62. We should be back up right around 70 degrees on Wednesday. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
747 WSJM Morning Show continues for Monday, May 5th. 49 degrees in Benton Harbor, 49 in St. Joseph, 49 degrees in South Haven under cloudy skies. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me is Brett Witkowski. It's time for Moody on the Market Update. The Moody on the Market Update brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. Big news. Primart Petroleum in St. Joseph will pass into the business legacy of Southwest Michigan later this month.
No kidding.
Yeah, as the Marski family is selling the third-generation business to two Michigan companies with similar long track records of growth, service, and family ownership, all centered historically on a traditional local oil company. MoodyOnTheMarket.com spoke with Primart president Kurt Marski for an overview of the sale and how the company has grown and prospered for almost a century.
Right.
97 years ago, Harry and Verna Prieb started in the oil and fuel business in the Twin Cities of Southwest Michigan. In 1972, Harry turned over the leadership to his son-in-law, Richard Marski, and Prieb Brothers Oil Company. They became Primart Petroleum. They were a pioneer, opening the first convenience store in Southwest Michigan in Stevensville when competitors were still operating full-service filling stations. And over the years, Primart grew to be the largest enterprise of its kind in Berrien County. And now, under its third generation of family leadership, they operate 13 Primarts strategically located throughout Berrien, Cass, and Van Buren counties. Now, later this month, the Marski family will sell Primart Petroleum in two separate transactions to two Michigan buyers, one focusing on convenience stores and one on bulk fuel and lubricant sales for industrial, farm, and residential customers. The Primart group of 13 convenience stores and gas stations will become part of the Easy Mart chain of nearly 200 stores.
Oh, I've been at Easy Marts.
Yep. Headquartered in Bear Lake, north of Manistee.
Right.
Like Primart, Easy Mart operates under several gasoline brands and will continue to operate the Primart stores under the current Amoco, BP, and Citgo brands Easy Marts offer what they call expanded options of food, beverages, and convenience items for busy commuters and consumers.
Good for them.
Yeah. So we've got the whole story there. Let's see. The Primar Petroleum Fuel, Oil, and Lubricant business will be sold to Merle Bowes of Holland. I think that's how you pronounce it. Merle Bowes. Yeah. Merle.
Was he on Dukes of Hazzard? Merle Bowes.
Jump over
Or
that
hee-haw,
hood. Get in
hee-haw.
that car.
Hee-haw.
The old General Lee. Merle Bowes started business in Holland in 1929, a year after Pre began.
He's still
here.
alive, huh?
No, you stop. Merle Bowes, the firm, is also a multi-generational family-owned business. They focus on fuel and lubricant segment, growing to be a major supplier across a wide swath of Michigan. We've got the whole story exclusive right there, posted at moodyonthemarket.com. Moody on the Market update. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and Niles. Primar.
Their headquarters are right across from St. Joe Public Works.
Not for long.
No, I know.
There you go. So maybe some
Merle.
land coming available.
That'd be pretty prime land, I would think.
I would say you clean it up a little bit, maybe. Everybody have to take a look at that.
What's that guy's name? Merle?
Anyway, all right.
What's his?
It's 7:50. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We've got more to talk about here in just a moment. Let me make sure I've got these things in order. All right. We'll be back in just a moment with more.
We're watching over you.
You go to Primart?
What's that?
You go to Primart?
All the time.
Okay.
I've
not anymore.
Been at Easy Stops.
The Easy Mart?
Yeah, they're nice.
Okay. Yeah,
that's too bad.
Yeah, that one. We've been working on that one. Gail Olson is the one who sleuthed that one out, and I think we received a tip on that, and then Gail it was his job then to find out a little bit more about it, and so he's been working on it for some time, and just got back to it. They just got enough that he went with the story, and so yeah, that one was shocking that was going to happen, because that's been an institution here for quite some time.
My whole life.
Nearly 100 years.
Yeah.
Almost your whole life.
One of my neighbors worked for him. He was married to one of them.
Oh.
Marskis.
Okay. There you go. Let's see. What?
Oh, just interesting.
Okay.
Merle.
Do you have any contracts with the county with their fuel supply?
No, we put out for bid. Ours are with Crystal Flash.
Oh.
And then
Not Jumpin' Jack Flash?
No.
Okay.
And then the big one out of South Haven. What's their names? They own gas stations.
Sean Hill says, is it Merle Bros? Well, according to the story as it's written here, BOES. So I'm going to look at it. Let's take a look at it and double check, because it says it's Merle Bowes Inc. of Holland. Nope, Merle Bowes. Sorry. Same thing that we reported in the story.
Yeah, we have 2 contracts.
You're still thinking on that one?
Yeah, because I can't remember the name of the firm out of South Haven, because they own a lot of gas stations. They're another version of Primar.
Okay.
What's their names? They own the Shell in St. Joe, the Marathon in Stevensville.
Can I ask you, are you Catholic?
Lutheran.
Okay, you're Lutheran.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not Catholic?
Nope. I have a son-in-law who's Catholic.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
How's that go at the Lutheran meals?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, they got married at St. Joe Catholic Church.
Oh, okay.
Boy, I guess the remodel of it's beautiful.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be a good story.
Okay, we'll put you on it.
I was going to say send so-and-so, but I can't go.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
President Donald Trump posting over the weekend an artificial intelligence-generated image of himself dressed as Pope.
Did he do it?
Yeah, that's what it says right here. He posted an AI image of himself. The image shared Friday night on Trump's Truth Social site and later reposted by the White House on its official account. Raised some eyebrows, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
That's why I ask if you're a Catholic, because I would think you'd have more standing to comment on it.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people are saying.
Yeah,
a lot of people are saying that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't suggest that to anybody.
No, it doesn't seem
Kind of
like part.
sacrilegious, maybe a little.
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
Are you Catholic?
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But I mean, I would say I'm not practicing, but I would say that probably in poor taste. Probably.
We should go to mass with Phil McDonald.
Yeah, he does a lot.
He's into it.
He's into that. He's into that.
Yeah, he's their AD and goes to mass all the time.
No, he's very active. I would suggest that probably, I don't know if there's a waiting period or whatever, but probably not in good taste.
No, I agree. I mean, even in a joke, I don't think it's good to joke about religious things like that.
Yeah, or death.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree
We'll be back in
100%.
just a moment to give more of our opinions in just a moment on the WSJM Morning Show.
McGee's wants to see the difference, and they'll be the first call every time. Feel at ease with McGee's. Call today for your estimate.
Feel at ease with McGee's.
Southwest Michigan's Bryant dealer.
From the Pat Moody Studios, this is WSJM FM Benton Harbor St. Joseph, a product of Midwest Family Marketing and Media. Proudly serving our community. The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:56. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me is Brett Witkowski. Brett, have we gotten into any trouble this morning? Are we doing all right?
Yeah, but that's not fun.
What do you mean?
You gotta get people fired up, man.
No, the show has been fun,
Oh yeah.
but we probably would have more fun, in your opinion, is what you're saying, if we
Sure.
got into trouble.
Sure.
We should probably not get into trouble.
No.
It's 49 degrees in Benton Harbor, 49 in St. Joseph, 49 in South Haven. What do you have planned for the week? Anything interesting? Anything fun?
Still moving dirt at the house.
Oh yeah? Why?
I got to get that dirt done because Trinity will use it for paid parking for Blossom Time. Well, they have in the past, but for Blossom Time Festival for their youth. So we need.
What are you doing?
They've been nice enough to let us use 2 parking spaces to hold the dirt.
Oh,
we
I
gotta
see.
get that.
So you have dirt that you're moving onto your property. You're currently borrowing parking spots from Trinity Lutheran
Correct.
to hold your dirt.
They've been very nice. They allowed us to do that.
They're not charging you for that? You know, the city's going to start charging for parking.
We always make a donation to them because they've been very great neighbors to us.
Oh, good. Well, that's very nice.
Yep.
And what are you doing with this dirt? I didn't realize you had that much dirt.
We had 2 yards, which is a lot.
What do you need 2 yards for, to fill in around a sidewalk?
So we had the sidewalks from the front where we have a rail because we have 4 steps.
Yeah.
And it goes.
Thanks.
And
Thanks for rubbing it in.
Goes to the back of the
I'm
house.
going to buy the ugliest rail and put it up on the house, by the way.
Yeah, they don't care what it looks like. You will.
Yeah.
And so will your wife.
That's true.
So between the houses, so when the houses were built, there was no cars. So they had the horses go between the houses, and they had a sidewalk that our neighbor and I shared. So he paid for part of his, and then we did it. And then I went to the back, put a patio, and then went all the way to the alley.
Oh.
So between the footings and the yard was about a foot, 6 to 12 inches wide, and between 4 to 6 inches deep that we've had to fill in.
And that's going to
with
take
dirt.
2 yards of dirt?
It has.
Wow.
It will. Yep.
Is it good dirt?
I may have to get. Yeah, it came from one of our sponsors here, which I just sent a check to.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, boy.
But it's so you're going to put flowers in it or grass? Or what are you going to do?
I've got grass. It's already popping up.
Oh, very nice.
Yep. And then we have the.
You need any extra fertilizer?
No, I got.
We're cleaning up after Russell.
No, that's called spot fertilizer. And then we have the new flowers coming in on Tuesday.
I made kombucha this weekend.
What's that?
You know what kombucha is? That's the.
I really don't.
That's
I'm asking.
That sweet tea that's been fermented using a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, and the SCOBY floats on the top, and it basically eats all the sugar, and it turns out to be like this nice, effervescent drink that is good, and it doesn't have hardly any alcohol in it.
Sounds like
less than 0.1%, I think.
Sounds like a PBS program.
No, it's really good. It's kombucha and
I'm
has a lot
serious.
of probiotics, whatever. Anyway, but this weekend I'm experimenting. So I've been making it for the last, 5 years out of tea, either black tea or green tea. And now I have distilled down some fresh rhubarb that we bought at the garden center in Sawyer. So that was fun. And then also some jalapenos. And so I made 2 different batches and see how they turn out. They're not tea based. One is rhubarb based. The other is jalapeno based in a simple syrup.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. The jalapeno one should be good. Oh, and then I almost blew out my nasal cavity with scorpion chili over the weekend because I found a whole container of scorpion chili powder.
Town on it.
Well, no, I went to sniff it because I thought it was going to be curry. Took a big old whiff. All right.
Oh, yeah.
More in a moment.
Creative landscape.
8 o'clock.
ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. President Trump standing behind new tariffs